Good morning to all of you. It's a challenging as well as exciting time in which we are meeting today. I was at the Mobile World Congress last week, and it was a great feeling to once again meet and connect with industry colleagues from across the world after such a long hiatus. MWC visit was, I would say, a positive sign of a hopeful retreat of the COVID. However, as we have been seeing, the world continues to be in turmoil with the ongoing geopolitical conflicts and growing concerns over climate change. But in spite of all these challenges, maybe or even possibly because of them, the world is experiencing a rapid expansion of the digital infrastructure, and there are modernization of policies along with digital security. All of these is leading to a richer and immersive experiences. As an industry, we overwhelmingly rose to meet the COVID challenge. Let me quite humbly reiterate that the pace of connectivity transformation unleashed by Jio in late 2016 was quickly adopted and followed by our industry peers, which laid the foundation for ensuring that India was ready for COVID-19. The unprecedented impact of COVID has driven the initial digital adoption and transformation, the most extensive of which we have all experienced has been in education, in healthcare, working from home, creating the hybrid new age type of workforce, and the rise of e-commerce in retail. All of these connecting businesses, homes, students, families, and we have all experienced the home delivery as a service, be it the Uber Eats that we've experienced as food services to health, to so many different products and services being delivered to the home. All of these meeting the basic needs during the lockdowns. We as an industry ensured India and our people were not adversely impacted. Rather, we set the pace for new frontiers and opportunities through digital inclusion and societal transformation for everyone. But these initial sets of digital transformations placed significant pressure on the network and the service provider business models as data usage rapidly grew across segments, and each one of us have experienced it. I do believe 2022, 2023 will be very important years for our industry and our nation. We as service providers to be the anchor and enabler for creating the new digital infrastructure. This to be the building block for emerging India and strengthening India's infrastructure across multiple sectors. The new economy will see data consumption increase multifold. I believe even more than 100x, with technologies like the metaverse driving endless possibilities of interacting with the virtual and the real world. Delivering on the metaverse experiences require for the service provider to have real-time rendering, intelligent edge computing, improved latency between devices across the access in the core network. All of this will require the service provider to embark on the next generation of bold investments and redefine how networks are architected. Very important. As operators, we will need to look beyond incremental changes to existing networks and invest in new infrastructure, whether it's deep fiberization, distributed intelligent edge compute for ultra-low latency, AI tools, blockchain, and end-to-end cloud-native architectures. These are some of the critical components to deliver affordable gigabit speeds, whether it's irrespective of wireless or wireline. And we need to offer affordable broadband for all using the best of technology. We don't need to worry about whether it's FTTX, 5G, Wi-Fi, satellite, so that we can deliver the right experience to the home office or anywhere in India. No place and no one should be left unconnected across India. To unleash and unlock these new opportunities for service providers and not to lose out on the Web 3.0 and the metaverse economy, we need to address a few of the hurdles. When we look at the larger social networks and the public cloud platform players and ODTs, disrupting industries that each one of us have experience with, now look at the comparative regulatory overhead that we as a telecom industry is burdened with. These regulations continue to severely impact our industry's ability to bring in new business and service models. On top of this, I believe the telecom industry is challenged by huge right-of-way costs. I mean, each one of us have talked about it many a times at this forum and many other forums. The central government and the DOT has put across certain quite meaningful policies for right-of-way, but these schemes and programs have to be percolated across to the state and the local governments. The current local government policies and processes, the financial burden for getting adequate rights and permissions, and in certain cases, I would say the bureaucratic overheads limits and inhibits our ability as an industry to deliver cost-effective and timely deployment of essential and basic connectivity infrastructure. We need to also ensure that with the DOT that we have adequate spectrum is made available, whether it is across the mid-band or millimeter wave, so that we as an industry can be the leader in innovation and be the leader for the next generation disruption and not constrain the telecom industry. I also would like us to touch on a few additional areas that are key for us to ensuring India's self-reliance. The India-centric high-tech manufacturing. How do we ensure that we as India is ready to secure our place in meeting local demands, but also playing a significant role in meeting global high-tech manufacturing demand? Technology partnerships are essential, and a few days ago, the Sanmina Reliance JV, we believe, is one such critical step to achieve this for India. It is also important outside of high-tech manufacturing for us as India to have a robust and an India-driven, secure, and indigenous device ecosystem. And by the way, this device ecosystem is not just for handsets, but it's for IoT, at-home devices, and enterprise devices. We know that there is significant overdependence on certain nations and certain geography for these devices. The COVID era and the current global situation have highlighted the limitations of this model, and this needs immediate attention by India and the industry. Not only do we require secure and reliable trusted products, and digital and secure cloud infrastructure providers, we must also have an unconstrained supply chain for our device ecosystem. Another key component for all of us is data security, including data privacy and data sovereignty. At the core of the new economy, we know it's all about data. It is expected, by the way, 70% of all GDP will be digitized this year. The volume of data created globally is to grow from 80 zettabytes this year to over 155 zettabytes in just another 3 years. That's by 2025. Data is at the center of the digital economy, and making data ownership and access rights is very critical for a nation. And globally, we have seen nations that are already making important decisions on data storage, its transfer, and its management. For us in India, we have seen over the last few years, data breaches have more than quadrupled. In fact, last year it is more than quadrupled. And it is critical through the Data Protection Bill, we implement a suite of best practices that we can strictly enforce, and for us to have our own standards and requirements, one that meets our desired outcome. Now, this also, I would say, means actively working with our trusted partners and nations so that we can have a cooperative data security framework. And as we as a nation is planning a digital currency, as we all know, security and traceability should be prioritized to protect our larger financial ecosystem. As I highlighted earlier, for 2022 and 23, it's important for us as an industry to be ready to tap into the potential of the metaverse and the Web 3.0 economy, and not just be limited by the connectivity value chain. We have an opportunity to be the owner of the end-to-end value stream. We took the responsibility during COVID to connect the local economy, the local fabric, to the national fabric, to the global economy. We were the anchors, and the opportunity exists for us to own and be the anchor of the metaverse and the Web 3.0 driven digital economy. But all of this, we know, required bold investments and big shifts. And to deliver on this value, the industry requires to have certain criteria or meet certain criteria. One is we need to have an agile operating model. And we need to have the right technology and platform partnerships, including the right investments in building a true gigabit network, whether it is the wireless infrastructure or wireline infrastructure. We also, as I stated earlier, require close collaboration and support from the local governments, the municipal corporations, local bodies, and even the panchayats and talukas, because we need to help remove the unnecessary overheads, whether it's bureaucratic or I would say it's regulatory. We need uniform ROW policy across states and local governments. We also require affordable and adequate 5G mid-band spectrum, 100 megahertz or more. And the industry has made good progress on trials and use cases. Similarly, let us not piecemeal the millimeter wave spectrum. Rather, let us auction the full band, whether it is from 24.25 gigahertz to 29.5 gigahertz to deliver real 5G service. Let us not deliver 5G at subpar performance compared to the rest of the world. And more importantly, let there be no specific biases to a specific technology or service provider. Let the industry deliver the best experience to its customers, leveraging the maximum benefit from the capital investments. In fact, let's set the record straight that India will follow same service, same rules in provisions of connectivity and communication services. And finally, so that we ensure a self-reliant and a secure, inclusive digital society, we must have adequate data protection that protects the critical data of our users, our businesses, without limiting any innovation or growth. There is no better example than the transformation we have seen in India over the last decade. Our industry is best positioned to lead India through the digital transformation into the new metaverse and Web 3.0 economy. Together, I sincerely believe with the right policies and investments, we can unleash the full potential of our industry and new India. Thank you very much for having me here today.